The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Rudy Nadillo, President of Dapresy North America. With me is Tina, and I'd like her to get started and give some introductions, and we can get going from there.
Thank you so much, Rudy. I actually want to thank everyone for joining us today. We'll be able to send out some more information after this webinar. But as you all know, Voxco is a company that provides survey software. So we allow you to collect information from multiple touch points, be they web surveys or phone surveys, face-to-face, mobile. But then it's always a challenge with how do you present that data back to your clients. And we know that PowerPoint is not the best way to do it. So we're really, really happy to be partners with Dapresy. And I think that the things that Rudy is going to show you are going to get you excited about the things that you can do to be able to present your data back. So I'll leave it off to Rudy, and I'll just thank you all again at the end, and we'll go from there. Rudy, take it away.
Thanks, Satina. I appreciate it. And for everybody on the line, we have a little chat window. So if you do have some things, at some point I'll open that chat window up so you can ask some questions and things. But I'll do the presentation first, and we'll go from there. I would like to say on a personal note, I really, really enjoy working with the folks at Voxco. They're great partners, and we've got a great solution here that really adds a number of things. Dapresy not only at the end of the scheme allows you to provide better presentations to your clients, but from a very selfish standpoint, gives you much more efficiencies internally, and you can really free up a lot of resources. So, you know, I do this all day long, and it's a real pleasure being able to talk to people about a win-win situation. So without further ado, we like to talk about the fact that we're better data by design. Dapresy is in what we call the VBI, or Visual BI space. Business intelligence are tools like Tableau and Spotfire and ClickView, and we're going to show you why Dapresy might be a better alternative to those, especially for you in research. We incorporate traditional reporting with visually engaging design. Our current focus is in market research, and the reason we're unique among the VI tools is that we work directly with respondent level data as well as other data, and we can combine multiple data sets. So Dapresy is being used for all kinds of reporting, customer and employee sat, brand trackers, ad hoc surveys, sales and shipment data, media, and transaction data. So we have lots of stuff we do. Just a quick question to Satina. Are you able to see the chat screen if somebody had to ask a question about anything specific?
Unfortunately, I won't be able to connect at all, so I don't know.
All right, no problems. I'll just keep my eye open there. I apologize, Satina. You told me that before. Dapresy is easy to use. It's a drag-and-drop system. There's no programming required. And, you know, if you know PowerPoint and you've been in the research field, a couple of days of training, we can get you up and running in Dapresy Pro. We've been in the business for 10 years. This isn't something new. Dapresy's been over in Europe for quite a long time. We just came to North America last year, and these are the clients of our research clients who use it. So it's a virtual who's who of Fortune 500, 100 clients that are actively currently using Dapresy. So it's a visually engaging, very easy to understand format. We combine traditional charts and tables with infographic images. What you see on the screen there, after a couple days of training, people could put out and do that very easily. All those elements are dynamic, so the numbers across the bottom change as the data changes. And, you know, generic BI systems, like this is some example of Tableau, they just can't do things like that. We present the story, we engage the viewer. This is something we did for Green Book, and the Green Book organization does their grit studies. This was their consumer participation in research, and this is a very simple dashboard. It has 3 filters. There are literally 2 pages on this dashboard but those filters and pages in the dashboard can generate over 600 views of this data set. So you have very simple to view and navigate dashboards, yet you have rich information that you can export out. And again, the generic BI systems can't do things like that. They're just stuck with their templates and static images. We like to talk about Dapresy being the better way. This is a very typical dashboard, and it's very simple yet powerful. It has a background screen. It's a stadium because this happens to be a sports customer satisfaction research firm that does this. Yet notice the data is being presented in very simple charts. You have some infographic images. So what we do is allow you to make a custom designed dashboard. It's visually appealing. It has infographic elements. And the real key is dynamic drill down filters provide a high level of user interaction. And if you're thinking of generic BI, they just don't do that. They're template-based, traditional, no infographics, and very limited drill down. Some of the benefits of Dapresy is there's no templates, no programmers, so you have no limits. You pretty much can start with a clean slate, design with what you want. There's no typing or proofreading or transposition errors. You're dealing in the raw SPSS file. That data comes into the system, and the analyst can't change the data. They can change the labels and the attribute names and all that, but they can't change the data. And any slide and table that they build is being worked off of that raw data. So you never have to worry about all the expense and time of bringing data into PowerPoint and then proofreading that data. That's probably the #1 thing most of our clients say when we ask them about what's the biggest advantage of Dapresy. They say no more proofreading. We don't have to worry about all these bringing data into PowerPoint. It's just there. You can seamlessly cohabitate other type of data. So let's say you have a tracker and you're looking at customer sat. You can very easily bring in sales and shipments and advertising GRPs and overlay all that. And if you ever tried to do that in PowerPoint, it's very, very difficult. With Dapresy, you just bring it in and they all cohabitate in there. And then as far as trackers, you never have to do a manual update again. We are told over and over again that the updates to PowerPoints are just, literally hundreds of man-hours a year to do that. With Dapresy, you build a dashboard, and then the data comes in automatically. We have unlimited design possibilities. Everything you see here is built in Dapresy. Some of these, really the only one that has a custom image is the one on the upper right for Roger's Product of the Year study. The rest of those are images that were brought in from the outside, and all of the tables and graphs and charts and bubble charts and things like that you see, that's all native to Dapresy. And lest you think we're just about fancy images, we also can be as sophisticated as required. So this too all came out of Dapresy. So think of it this way. You can publish in a dashboard and let people drill down, and they can drill down and get to detail like that. So you have the best of both worlds. Storyteller is the core dashboarding module. Here's 2 examples of a dashboard. Within Storyteller, we have a chart creator, a table tool, and an open comment tool. And these are the tools that underlie the system. Those tools can also be deployed freestanding. So oftentimes you might have a dashboard that may be there on the upper left. The airline executives are looking at that. But in the exact same dashboard, the sales analysts and the research analysts in the company are also able to view a cross-table tool to let them do tables and run data on the underlying database. We have a very easy-to-use interface. You just drag and drop, bring the components in. You run your tabs on the fly. You don't have to run any tabs prior to bringing data into Dapresy. And you reuse components and pages. You bring things in, and you can have everything automatically updated. We like to talk about moving beyond PowerPoint. This is something Rogers did for Product of the Year. Notice the filters on the top. Those filters allow you to drill into the data, and literally thousands of views can be generated from that one page. You think about PowerPoint, it's linear, tedious, iterative, it's literally hundreds of slides. They're not very friendly. There's never enough, and they consume man-weeks of time for updates. So what's the Dapresy way? Well, you define, think of a web page, and you have a background on a web page. We call that a skin. And then on top of that skin sits your slides. And you can choose a template. You can import a PowerPoint template that you might be using for a particular client or make something new. Then let's say it's a tracker. You define what are called storyteller sections. Those are the dashboard sections. So your demos, your customer sat, your product performance, and all that kind of stuff. And then once you do that, you then, instead of having all those slides you see behind, what you do is you make those dynamic filters. So country, region, brand, account, salesperson, demos. You don't have to make all those hundreds of slides. You let those become your filters. And then those let you free up and build 4 to 5, 8 to 10, whatever it might be, key pages, a handful of dynamic slides that are very user-friendly and allow the user to go in and generate whatever it is they need. The other thing you can do within Dapresy is you have the ability to provide individualized access to data and functionality. So we have a number of clients that we've partnered with Voxco that's using Dapresy, and they have the need to deploy out to different regions or different local offices views of data. And in the past, it was either very cumbersome, really from a practical standpoint, impossible to deliver that data, where now you build one dashboard, and you know, Satina's in Montreal, and Vinny maybe is in Toronto, and Rudy's over in Boston, and Joe is sitting in you know, Minneapolis, and we're all going into the same dashboard, but each one of us only sees our view of the data. So, you know, Satina sees Montreal versus Quebec versus total Canada. Rudy sees Boston, you know, versus Massachusetts versus total U.S. Yet we're all in the same environment, and that's what we call hierarchical filtering. You can also do that same thing with functionality. You know, Vinny's the head of sales, so Vinny's just going to see the dashboard. But, you know, Satina might be a sales analyst, and Satina sees the same dashboard Vinny sees, but she also gets into the table tool and the ability to run some crosstabs on the fly. So you really have a lot of functionality that you can provide people. And what I'd like to do now is jump in here and show you some examples of dashboards that give you a little flavor of what we can do. Let me see here. I want to, I have the wrong screen up, forgive me. So let me go back in here. And these are live dashboards. They're deployed. Here's the first one is GRIT. This is the Green Book organization. This was a study done globally. There's 1.5 million responses on this study. And it's very simple, elegant, yet powerful. There's 2 pages, page 1, page 2, and you have a number of filters here for geographical region, age group, and gender that I'm clicking up here on the top. And with these filters and those 2 pages, this thing generates, I think it's around 745 pages or something. So imagine the efficiency of having a study like this, building 2 pages, putting some filters that you literally click any variable, any attribute you have in your study on the setup page in Dapresy. You just click and make those filters. So we can go here and look at North America and look at females and click update, and this data instantly changes. When you work with Dapresy, the data SPSS file comes into a SQL database, and when you're done building the dashboards, you tell the system to regenerate all the filter combinations, so the user gets almost instantaneous access to the data. And you can see here in North America, 75% of people are using the desktop, and a lot of them are using Microsoft, but you have a lot of Apple users. Why don't we jump over here to South America, and you're going to see very quickly that nobody uses Apple and everybody uses Microsoft. And I can bounce back up here, and we'll go into Canada, and I always like to show this example here because Canadian females love to use their mobile phones. This is the biggest number in the study. 33% of them are taking their surveys on the mobile phone. So that's just a couple little ways you can use the product and go around. This is another dashboard that was in my slides I like to show people. This is just elegantly simple. Our client, Turnkey Research, does a lot of sports marketing research and event studies. They did this one for the Pac-12, which is a big conference down here in the U.S. They also deploy this to the NFL, although I'm not allowed to show that. But the same ideas. This is a custom skin you see on the background. You have all your different tabs on the top here. You can look at importance versus satisfaction. You could look at priorities for improvement. And one of the ones that I really like is imagine you're a team owner and it's Monday morning. What do you want to know? Well, what did people say about the venue? What did they say about the event? And what's my average food, beverage, merchandise, and parking? And by the way, food, beverage, merchandise, and parking is not survey data. That's just a feed we get from an Excel sheet that comes into the study, and it tells them what the transactions were over the weekend. So you can commingle in lots and lots and lots of stuff and really have the ability to do some really cool stuff. Finally, I want to show you, before I get off of this one, I do want to go in and show you something that is very clever. Lots of clients comment on this. They really like this. This is another example. You're probably all thinking, and I'm just checking the chat box here to see if there are any questions. No, there aren't. You're probably wondering, you know, okay, this is just for surveys. Well, watch this one. This is a button called Ad Campaign. This is a prototypical restaurant. It's called Chico's Cantina, and we made this up for a way to showcase a lot of different things. So here are ad campaigns that a client has. You can show those ad campaigns, list them here. I can click on Taco Tuesdays and get more information. The system can show the video for the TV commercial. It can show all the campaign images, and it also shows me all more detail about the campaign. But this also happens to be an advertising test. So I click here, and there's my ad campaign test data. Have you seen it before? Is the message clear? Do you like it? You know, would you visit? Wouldn't you visit? Et cetera, et cetera. Your typical ad testing. So this is a very cool way of deploying out traditional research information in a much more compelling manner, because you can go here and put in all the different campaigns, all the tests of the campaigns, and all the details about the campaign, all within the same unit. The other thing I thought I would show you while I'm in this one is something called mystery shopping. And what's interesting here, you saw those campaign images. Well, anybody who does mystery shopping knows that you usually want to look at the data and you want to get the people who are shopping to take pictures of the different stores. So, for example, this happens to show the Atlanta restaurant, but if somebody went to the Boston restaurant, they click Update here, and the data updates, and now there's the picture of the Boston restaurant. Imagine you're doing mystery shopping on different, I don't know, retail shops, and you want to see shelf sets. You could put the shelf sets in there. You just have unlimited possibilities to do all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to go back here and just finalize our presentation with some examples of this company called TELUS. And those of you in Canada know there's a real TELUS phone company, but my friends in Sweden thought they were clever and made up the TELUS phone company until I told them there really was one in Canada. Well, what this does is that this is a good way to showcase all the different modules we have in Dapresy. This front page here is all drag and drop. This is built no different. This square is built no different than you would build a PowerPoint slide, yet the background is the custom skin. In this case, it's very, very simple. It just has the logo and things. If you recall the one we showed before with the sports company, that had lots more detail in there. I can go into the overview here. I can commingle and look at lots of different data sets. Here's a nice executive overview. I can look at my advertising spend, my budget, globally, my sales, and my tracking information. I want to drill into the tracker. I just click there. And then here, this is where you really can open up and really see how the system can provide your clients lots of flexibility. So here, I have those global filters, but I also have the ability to filter down within the slide. So in honor of my friends up there at Voxco, we're going to pick on Canada, and we're going to make this Canadian data, and we're going to turn this into a bar chart, and we're going to make that a fully stacked bar. So that makes it a lot easier to look at share data. And then I want to go up here and make this Canadian data, so I click there. And I want to make this a column, because I just like looking at columns better than lines, my personal preference. So now I've edited the chart the way I like it. Globally now, I can go in and say I want to look at this product, and I want to look at this time period. So I've got my data the way I like it. Looks pretty good. Now I have a bunch of export options. I can either export the underlying data in Excel, or I can export this to a PowerPoint chart. I do my editing in Dapresy, and then what I'm exporting in this view is out to PowerPoint as a image. And there is the PowerPoint deck, and here is that slide that we made, and that slide exactly matches what's over there in Dapresy. There's your PowerPoint. Sorry, it's getting a little funky here for a second. There's your PowerPoint slide. Just view that. And there is your Dapresy slide. Okay? Now, that is what, say, senior management would use. But you also have analysts in the field, or you have researchers who want to get in, and I affectionately like to say geek out on the data. Okay? Well, there's a table tool. This is a tool now that's going to go into the raw SPSS file and run some tables. So why don't we run awareness and familiarity by country and gender. And I'll set this up so we can do a t-test after. And there I did is I'm just generating that table. Notice this is taking a couple of more seconds. Why? It ran it live. When before I was clicking, everything was popping up because it was pre-generated. So there's your table. No big surprises. Let's look at this at total. And I'm going to run a t-test. And there's my t-test. And if I want to take this data and export that to Excel, there's my Excel file. And you can go crazy and do whatever you want to do with this Excel file. Bring it into PowerPoint, email it to someone, or do whatever. You also have a charting tool here, which you'd open up to an analyst. You have that. And then the other thing you have is an open answer tool, which is open ends. And you can filter these open ends. So again, let's pick on Canadian females who did postpaid products. I'll click apply, and there they are. And these tables on the left and the word cloud on the right can also be used within the storyteller. So you have all these capabilities. And really, if you think about your workflow, with Dapresy, you close field. When you're done with field, you bring the raw SPSS file into Dapresy. You can bypass doing anything you do in SPSS. Do all your cleaning of the, not your cleaning, but all your label metadata transformation within Dapresy. You can save those transformations as what we call a mapping. So if it's an ongoing study, you don't have to bring each file into SPSS and every single time clean it. It'll just automatically do it in Dapresy. And then you build everything in Dapresy, and this becomes a great thing for your trackers or your ad hoc studies. So with that, I'd like to open up to any questions people might have. There is a chat window down there. Let me see if I can open up this to enable. Let's see here. People want to type in. Please type in anything in the chat window, and I can answer any questions you might have. I got some questions here. Just let me get those open. Here we go. Okay, what about recording data, recoding data? Okay, you can do coding in something like ascribe and bring that into the system. Let's see, Jacques Warren says here, okay, easy to make infographics with your solution, but could you first make the case for infographics as an efficient mean of presenting analysis results? I think I made that case in my presentation there. So you can do very powerful ways to present information in a compelling, user-friendly way, and that's really what infographics are about. I'm working with 3 media companies right now who are putting out lots of data to people. Some of it's senior management, some of it of non-technical people, and they say they just can't continue to put out basic charts and tables. People are just not relating to the information. So that's why infographics are really good. Somebody asked about how can I compare regions. You just set up the system to compare regions. You can set up the system any way you want. You can compare anything by anything. It's a pretty wide open thing. Is there any way to lock some of the features? Yes, there is. You have complete control in the system to lock or unlock features, lock or unlock data that people see, lock or unlock functionality. You also have something called variable subsets, so that let's say you have a global client and they have 20 products. 12 are distributed in Canada, 15 are distributed in the US, 4 are distributed in London. You know, I'm just making up some numbers. Well, you don't want to show a set of data where all 20 products are there, and because you're in Canada, 8 of the 20 aren't being shown and you have zeros. So you can suppress that data automatically. That's another way to lock or unlock things. More precisely, how's the output presented to a third party? I just showed you that. It's presented either online with a link. You can export out to PowerPoint if you need to and present those. Oftentimes our clients will go into the client meeting and use Dapresy live to present because they can dynamically change the data any way they want. The other thing we have is when I was talking about, we have a number of slides and you have these different views and you can generate hundreds of pages. You can cherry pick different views, and let's just say you have a dashboard and you want to make an executive summary and you want to present that executive summary every month or quarter whenever a tracker study gets updated. Well, you can cherry pick those slides, filter them, and save them into something called My Story. And you could call that, you know, executive summary, let's say, and you might have 10 or 15 slides in there. The filter combinations you pick all stay, and whenever the data updates, everything automatically updates, and you can just walk in and present those executive summary slides with that data. Yes, the main application is served online. It's hosted. The servers are in Toronto, and everybody up in Canada is very happy with that. And people down in the U.S. are happy with that because you're outside of the Patriot Act, so you don't have to worry about data there. We do go through very rigorous security screenings. We've had some major banks, financial institutions, and others. We pass scrutiny, so there's no problem there. It says here, sounds like multiple data formats other than SPS. Yes, that's correct. We can take in SPSS and Excel. We can also do third-party links to data if you want to have, I don't know, maybe bring in a stock ticker or something like that. But we can handle multiple data sets. Someone said, can we feed data directly from Voxco Acuity to Dapresy as a live feed? It is fed through the Voxco system. You program Voxco to, when the field closes or if you're having an ongoing tracker, at whatever interval you want, you program Voxco to export out a file. It goes to a secure FTP site, and you program Dapresy to pick up that file. You can program either system at any interval you want, so effectively that is the live feed and update. You know, live, is it real-time live? I don't know anybody who has real-time live, and it's really not needed with the kind of data we do. You could set this for 5-minute intervals, you could set this for an hour, or you can set this for daily. Text analytics functionality, we don't do natural language processing per se, but we do have open comments, as I showed you guys. and that we allow to do. Can you export several charts into a single PPT file, or do you have to export charts? No, you can export the whole thing. This was David Stark. As a matter of fact, one of the things you can do in Dapresy is we have clients who have, let's say, a set of 25 slides, and those 25 slides have to be changed to give maybe 40 country views. It's the same slides, but they just want to have country A, country B, or product A, product B. You can set up Dapresy to automatically automate that data population and export all those out as PowerPoint slides. So you can do that. And that's pretty much the questions we have here. Anything else anybody wants to ask, please type it in. Pricing, somebody asked down here at the bottom. Pricing is a per-seat license model. We have administrative users who are the people inside your research company, and then we have report users who are the clients who view the data, and then we charge a one-time fee for training. We come on site for 2 days, train your people, and then we usually package in some client service hours for people to use. So that's how that works. Any other questions? This seems to be working pretty good down here in the question box. Can we delay the publishing of the results? Let's say a client has access to one report. Yes, you can. There's a couple of ways to do that. What you do is, if it's a tracker, you can make 2 copies of the project. One is your beta pre-launch one. You can look at the data, and then if everything looks good, you just copy that project to the launch one. Copying a project isn't a big deal. It's like, you know, I have a file named Rudy and Rudy Test and Rudy Live. I just look at Rudy Test, I bless it, and then I just copy it and say, call it Rudy Live, and it just replaces that. So yes, you can do that. Any other questions from folks? Vinny, Satina, you have anything you guys want to add?
No, not from our end. Of course, if anyone
did I miss anything? I feel like I'm going 90 miles an hour here. Did I miss anything that you guys know the system really well?
I think that you covered definitely all of the fun points. I mean, obviously, you know that we're a big fan of the system. We think it's a great tool that every researcher should definitely have. And I'm sure that everyone on the webinar is going to go back, digest some of the information, and think of other questions that they have. And I invite you to please send them along to us. We'll definitely get them answered. Also, I'm sure some of you probably want to have more of a one-on-one, maybe set up a more personalized demo. We'd be very happy to do that as well. Send that off to myself or to Rudy. We'll accommodate your timing. We just wanted to give you a feel for what Dapresy we could do. As I mentioned, we're pretty excited about it. We think it's a great way to deliver results. We're very happy to partner with them.
I do have a couple of more questions that came in here.
Of course.
Let's see here. Oh, no. Sorry. That was something you did.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry.
All right, then.
We did record this.
Yes.
So we'll be able to clean this up and put it out somewhere.
We'll be, yeah, exactly. We'll be able to clean it up, send it out to everyone. And again, I invite everyone to let us know if they have any questions. We'll send you off a quick thank you note so that you'll have our contact info fresh in front of you as well. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Rudy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
everybody.
I appreciate you stopping by.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.